Hello, Florencia. How you doing?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm calming down a little bit now. I'm not gonna lie. So all is good. Our guest is in the house, which I'm really, really, really happy to have here. Last week, in fairness, it was the eclipse last week. So our show is weekly. The eclipse only happens. I think the last one happened in the United States in like 1978. So, in fairness, like I think that kind of takes precedence over this. So I'm just glad. I'm just calming down now. I've come back from grocery shopping. I frantically put the bananas away, the oranges away, and everything, and I'm ready to go. So yeah. So welcome one and all. This is it. We are here. Bitcoin is art kind of show, the weekly show where the weekly international Bitcoin art show where we just talk about the thing we're most passionate about, which is Bitcoin art. And looking at the time chain calendar here, it's not that long now until the next halving. We're at block height 839,371. So I always check over to blockchain, go over to the time chain calendar. A really good way of visualizing the Bitcoin time chain. So, Modio's just given us a thumbs down. I don't know why that is, but here we go. Florencia, how are you doing anyway? That's enough about me jabbering on here.
I'm very good. I had a very fun weekend. I'm a bit tired, and this is going to be a long week, I guess. Monday is being very Monday for me today. But I'm very happy to be here. This is a happy place for me. So I really enjoy our talks, and I'm very happy that Asanoha is with us today, and that we get to dive deeper into his projects. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think this is what this show is about. It's kind of bringing the artist community together. Just a reminder to anyone who's listening here that if they want to step up and talk, ask our guest or ask any questions throughout the whole kind of show. Just send us a request, and we will do the best we can to accommodate you within the hour that we're given. So. I think we've talked quite a lot. Florencia, is there anything else you want to mention before we go into the main event?
Uh, no, let's go right into this because I wanna make sure we use all our time here. This is an hourly show, and yeah, I wanna know more about yeah, a lot of things about Asanoha's project. I'm very lucky to have original prints from him. I want to know about the trading cards. I want to know about everything.
Me
So
too.
hey, mhm,
Bring him on. Bring him on.
yeah.
Is he here? Is he here? We
Uh,
summon him.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yay!
I made it.
Woo!
Perfect.
How are you, mate?
Cool. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here. I deeply appreciate the invitation, and I would like to sincerely apologize for last week. We were like in the middle of watching the eclipse, and so that kind of threw a curveball. But I'm here now, and I'm happy. It looks like you guys got Shooter on last week, and he's so cool, such a great guy, phenomenal artist, videographer, photographer, and so I hope that turned out all right. And I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah,
As
it was super fun. It was not like it's very cool when you don't plan things, but they turn out like beautiful and fun. And I actually feel like that's such an important thing of a creative person to be open to changes, to be and to take them in the best way you can, and to build with that things that you cannot control. So don't worry, it was super fun to learn more about the Shooters project, and we're very happy to have you here today.
yes,
Cool.
completely. So glad to have you, mate. It's been a while. It's been the last time I think we met was in Miami last year, where I did a bit of sticker hunting and managed to claim my sticker pack. from the Asanoha store that was there, and it was great to chat to you there and all the projects that you've been up to. But there may be a few people in the audience that don't really know a lot about your story. So I think let's start around at the beginning. What has brought you into Bitcoin art?
A good friend of mine, actually, Kisa, the author of the Simplest Bitcoin book, suggested I make some Bitcoin art. I think the like moment or the like the moment for that was it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Brecky sold one of his carvings, and we saw that he sold it for, I don't know, he sold it for a good price, and we were kind of like, oh wow, like there's, I don't think either of us had known about the Bitcoin art space much at all, and we were like, oh wow, that's like really cool. Like it seems like there's a desire, a demand for Bitcoin art. And so I was like, I should try and make some kind of Bitcoin art, and so I did, and it was received quite well. And so I've been doing it ever since, and through it just becoming more and more passionate about sovereignty, digital sovereignty, financial sovereignty, personal sovereignty, and all of the wonderful things that come with sound money. My first time I heard about Bitcoin, or I guess when I first interacted with Bitcoin, was in 2017, the beginning of 2017. I was working on a hemp farm, cannabis farm, and I got paid, I think it was like 3 or 4 Bitcoin for some work I had done, and the price was at like 1,200 a coin. And unfortunately, I just treated it as money, and I kind of ended up selling most of it, the majority of it. But that was, I started then researching about it and kind of got back in, and then was kind of in and out of it until 2020, 2021. And then I got back into it with, very heavy maximalist emphasis. And I've just been fully immersed ever since.
That's so cool. I was wondering, and before Bitcoin or Bitcoin art, were you doing art as well, or did you came from something different?
I haven't been doing art for that long. uh, I've been making artwork for about 5 years, actively. And it was just one day I decided I wanted to be an artist, and was always been very inspired by visionary artists like Mir One and Shepard Fairey, although he's kind of seems kind of fucking socialist and communist these days. So, but still, his art's phenomenal. And other artists, having gone to Burning Man a couple times, and um, it was a bit later in life for me, and I decided I wanted to be an artist, and I started drawing and making art, and kind of sold some paintings to some friends, and was like, oh wow, maybe I can actually do this. But it was definitely more on the side. And over the last 2 years, I've been making art pretty much full time. I'm currently in a tattoo apprenticeship with a world renowned geometric tattoo artist. The art that I was making before Bitcoin art was all more geometric, kind of just sacred geometry, you could say, or inspired by just different, forms of geometry. Um, and yeah, so I've been making art about 5 years, been making Bitcoin art for 2 or 3 years, and I'm a full-time artist.
That's amazing. I think that's the kind of the dream, as any artist, when they, you've decided to become this calling, this thing that you're incredibly passionate about, and you've gone for it. How has Bitcoin helped you become a full-time artist? There's probably a lot of strings to that, but I'm going to ask that question as a whole.
Being an artist is incredibly difficult, as most people know. And I think that the how early we still are in Bitcoin art, specifically Bitcoin only art, is an amazing niche for anybody that's here right now. And everybody's so welcoming and kind. And there's maybe 100 Bitcoin artists, if that. And so I think just having found a niche like that, is phenomenal and is really special for all of us, and that definitely helped a lot. There's so much art out there, and the modern art world's so bizarre and everything. And so having a space like this where there is just, you can kind of be a big fish in a small pond, which is great when you're, starting out an art career journey. And then, of course, I wouldn't, becoming a Bitcoiner, I wouldn't want to be paid in anything other than Bitcoin for my art. So I don't really know who else to sell my art to.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I've only recently sold a Bitcoin piece to a non-Bitcoiner, but then through that process has become a Bitcoiner. So that's that. But I believe I think you're right. There's definitely a target audience for Bitcoin art at the moment. In years to come, it will be Bitcoin art will become so widespread that uh, it will just be art, full stop. Just so I want to just before let Francie again. I'm so excited. I just want to keep asking questions. So I know like we talked briefly about in Miami about your style and in particular, and then I believe that the black and gold from the Asanoha is extremely unique in the sense that you're looking at an Asanoha piece when you see that black and gold. Did that come out of Burning Man, and how has it evolved over time?
Um, I I had some friends, some deadhead friends that would spray paint like squirt guns gold, or spray paint like at Burning Man, they would steal the like community bikes and spray paint them gold. They've got these like green bikes or yellow bikes at Burning Man that's like one of the Burning Man camps. And every year people leave like thousands of bikes there, and so they'll like take them and fix them up, and then for the next year they'll just be kind of all over, and anybody can ride them around. And they would take them and steal them and then spray paint them gold and then ride them around. They were very old school burners who were quite rambunctious. But I don't know. I always thought the black and gold was kind of cool. It was just like kind of fun. I think it's kind of it's eye catching, and it looks classy. It's kind of bougie. It's also kind of funny because it's kind of kind of corny at times. So I don't know. I found some like I have these like oil-based metallic paint pens I really like to use, and I was making some geometric stuff with them. And I've tried all kinds of gold paint and gold spray paints, and I've done some gold gilding, gold leafing, but I really like these pens. And so yeah, I don't know. I just did that. People seem to like it. It's kind of funny. I'm kind of trying to move away from it because Bitcoiners don't really like gold to begin with, but it is funny selling gold artwork to Bitcoiners for Sats. So there's definitely a little, I don't know if tongue in cheek is the right phrase, but it's a little funny. That's fun. And yeah, it's very definitely like a standout kind of graphic, eye catching thing. People like shiny stuff. And so, yeah, it worked well. And I like it. I like the way it looks. So I always try and make art that I would hang on my own wall.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same way. I understand that like you have to do something that you love. And I think it's a fun thing, but it's really Bitcoiner if you think about it, because gold, we're telling you that Bitcoin is better than gold in so many ways. So of course, gold has to return to something, for example, art or technology or stuff like that. So to this kind of use case of this metal. So let's build pretty jewelry and have gold in our paintings. And I think actually it is a Bitcoiner statement to say this is where gold belongs. So I really love that about your work. Actually, I think it's really smart, and I think it opens up conversations and like yeah, like even when people disagree with it, you can talk about it, and then it's always kind of fun. And many people haven't thought about it. Maybe they're like being more simple about it, like no, we hate gold, so it's like, no, don't use a $1 bill to do your art. Maybe that's exactly what we should do. I don't know.
Uh, Everything you've said there is 100% spot on. I and I maybe I don't give it enough credit in that sense, but I like the saying like making money art, using a fiat bills to make art. I guess using the color gold is kind of the same, and like you're saying, putting it back into jewelry and emphasizing it as an art form. And along with that, I will also say it has been the strongest form of sound money for over 10,000 years. So I think that there is some recognition that it deserves. Until Bitcoin came along, that was, I would say, arguably the best store of value ever known to mankind for a very long time. And there's also, definitely a nod to 1971 and 1933 EO 6102 and with gold. And I think that it stands as a reminder to not let what happened to gold happen to Bitcoin. So there's definitely a lot of good conversation around it.
I'm also I want to know more about your decision to go to the tattoo world. um, I personally do like tattoos. I like them a lot, and I think it's a crazy form of art to do something that's going to kind of, for the person who does it, it's like forever, but it's not. It's a piece that will go with that person. um so it has this both sides, like, oh, it's so permanent, don't do a tattoo in yourself because you'll have it for your whole life. But then again, the art expression itself, it's tied, I don't know how to say it, but with this person's destiny, and I want to know, like, what was like, how that did that started, and how is it going, and are you tattooing only your designs, or are you open to what people want to get tattooed? Also, when can I have a tattoo?
You can have a tattoo whenever I see you at a conference soon, maybe this year, or if you ever come to Texas. Um, I Tattoos are super interesting. I think there's something fascinating about etching into a body made of carbon with carbon ink. Black tattoo ink is for the most part just carbon. There's something, we all are unique individuals, and because we are all unique in a way, we are all the same. And putting a tattoo on your body kind of lets you mark yourself. I think that kind of is the same thing as girls like dyeing their hair, or people who are into like hardcore body modifications. There's something sovereign about claiming the land of your body. So I think that resonates for people on a deep level, for some people. And then they are also in a lot of ways, you know, how do I say, there's a tribalism with them, and it's a way to fly a flag like you would wear a shirt of a band you like, or get a tattoo in a style. And so there's some tribalism in there, and sense of belonging, I think, that exists. And of course, a lot of tattoos came, at least in the West, from prisons and gangs and stuff. And so I love geometric artwork, and I've got this opportunity with this artist, to study with him, and he's one of the best in the world. And you can make really good money doing tattoos as an art form. It's art. Says art. It's art as a service. Um, and so it seemed, selling paintings is difficult, and it seemed like having tattooing as a skill in my tool belt would be a useful thing. I don't have a lot of tattoos, but I've always liked them. And specifically the geometry, I think, is a fascinating, subject matter to tattoo onto a human body, where there's so much geometry in our bodies. And to me is a I don't want to say a religion, but it's a spirituality of sorts, and just a recognizing and honoring of the interconnectedness of everything, and our humble human attempts to conceptualize something greater than ourselves and the mathematics that make up this human experience that we're having. Tattoos are also very similar to Bitcoin in the sense that they're the only form of art that you can truly own. I mean, that's arguable, but from a certain perspective, you would have to go to the same lengths to take a tattoo from me as you would have to take Bitcoin from me or from someone, and that would probably be literally cutting their skin off. They're also the only form of art you can take with you when you die, which you kind of touched on there. And it is fascinating to spend the lifetime, or to spend your time making art that's going to decay and is not permanent. Yet I don't feel like, I feel like a lot of us Bitcoin artists, especially, we often think of, set like artwork, how do I say, like non-fiat art is like art that's going to last a long time or stand the test of time. But I don't feel like tattoos are fiat artwork, personally. That could also be argued. But it's fascinating because they won't stand the test of time and they will go away. And so, in a lot of ways, it's like art for the passion of art. And there's no resale value. So, it's basically the antithesis, I don't know if that's the right word, antithesis of modern art, which is all about the resale value and how much money can you make once you buy it and resell it. So tattoos are very not scammy. They're very not shitcoinery because you can't fucking resell them. So when you buy a tattoo, you're buying it because you want it, because it means something to you. And I think there's something special about that.
I think so. I think it's you touched upon that there. I don't know if you've heard this concept, like the infinite game and the finite game. So the finite game is where there's a score, it ends at some point. The infinite game is where it no longer it continues and it's passed on to the next generation. And I think in terms of Bitcoin art, it is the infinite game. It's creating works that will last and be passed on to the next generation over and over. And in terms of the tattooing, I think it has the similar kind of, as you say, moralistic kind of standpoint view, where it is the infinite game. This is an image that is going on my body for life, and there's no going back. Okay, that you can get it off with lasers potentially, but it's never going to be the same again. It's a permanent reminder of exactly why what you're doing and the values that you have. So I'm just wondering about the geometry aspect of it and how that relates to Bitcoin, and why you're so drawn to geometric shapes within your art, which I've seen as you've progressed as an artist, and watching your work over the last couple of years, you are drawn a lot more towards the geometric styles. That's probably an influence from your tattooing, but how and why have you incorporated that into your Bitcoin art?
Well, when I started making Bitcoin artwork, it's as I think I would imagine most Bitcoin artists experience at some point once they've decided they want to make Bitcoin artwork. I mean, I won't speak for everybody, but that it's hard to conceptualize Bitcoin beyond Bitcoin bees and certain obvious how do I say narratives or whatever. But how do you conceptualize Bitcoin? And I don't know. In a lot of ways, I feel about Bitcoin the same as I feel about geometric artwork and geometry and spirituality in a lot of ways. And Bitcoin can be very spiritual, and geometry can be very spiritual. And it's a spirituality that's connected to reality. It's not up in the clouds. It's not a dogmatic religious thing. It's just very basic. It's based on precise mathematical truth. And Bitcoin is the newest and purest form of energetic storage and transference. I know that's a controversial sentence right there, but it's the newest and purest form of energetic transference and storage based upon precise mathematical truth. And sacred geometry and geometric artwork is the oldest and purest form of conceptualizing that same mathematical truth. And so combining geometry and calling geometry Bitcoin art is I kind of reached a point where I was like, just geometry itself can be Bitcoin art, you know. It's especially if I'm trying to, you know, would only sell it for Bitcoin, or at the least prefer to sell it for Bitcoin. And both geometry and Bitcoin remind us that all things are connected. And so, yeah.
It's so fun because I remember the first time I saw a piece of yours. That was in, I think it was Miami, but Bitcoin 2022 in Miami, can it be? And I think you had painted. That was the first time I saw. I was not that deep into like Twitter or so. I just went to that conference and then I learned there were so many cool Bitcoin artists, and I started like looking for more people and stuff like that. And I remember seeing your pieces. I was there with my brother and thinking like, oh, this is such a tattooable aesthetics. So it's so cool that you have like you had this geometrical thing that is so deep and that you connect so well with it, and then you actually did this other step, moving to the tattoo world, and also connecting these things, and like you said, the human body is full of geometry, but also it's like if you think about it, you never find a straight line. It's all full of like curves, and it's soft, and it's so I don't know, and then you have like these patterns of like straight lines, like so perfect. Like human body is also very imperfect. Like you can't find a perfect symmetry in it, and then I think it's so beautiful how these two things complement each other, and then you add the Bitcoin factor there, and that also adds up another layer. And like you said, I think we are entering a phase where we might love pop culture. We have the references. We love the memes. We add the Bitcoin B in our works if we want to, but there's also so much more, like because each of one of us has their own unique perspective and style, and wants to go deeper into different things. And I love how you say like, just by asking another human being to pay you in Bitcoin, this is maybe Bitcoin art. Like nothing, like it's that simple maybe. And then what we represent, it's more about ourselves, our perspective of life, or what we want to show. And yeah, the statement is maybe like in the payment itself. I don't know.
Absolutely. And one of you had mentioned a bit earlier. First, I want to say thank you so much. You flatter me, but so one of you had mentioned before the conversations. I think maybe it was you, Rebel. And I see it as that, and I also, I mean, you know, I guess to think about like into the future, you know, as Bitcoin adoption spreads, you know, there will probably be a day, possibly not too far off, you know, very likely we will, or very possibly we will see it in our lifetimes where, um, you know, even being a Bitcoiner isn't really a thing anymore because everybody just uses Bitcoin and accepts Bitcoin as payment. And, you know, so I think we're in a really special time right now. And I think that there will be, though, kind of an evolution of Bitcoin art where, yeah, it's exactly that. It's maybe not even a Bitcoin theme, but it's just because the artist, you know, is a Bitcoiner and prefers Bitcoin as payment, or only accepts Bitcoin for their artwork as, you know, the dollar collapses faster and faster. Um, you know, and that in its of itself makes it Bitcoin artwork or makes it a Bitcoin product. And it doesn't have to even be actually conceptualizing something themed Bitcoin. So I think we're going to see more of that. I think there's going to be, um, you know, I think there is happening, you know, a art sort of, you know, it's small still, but a little renaissance of sorts, of artists who are wanting to make, you know, non-fiat art and make, you know, who are very kind of, you know, in awe and reverence, as many Bitcoiners are, of like pre-fiat artwork. And so I think it's an exciting time to be here and be in the space.
It most certainly is. It's now it feels like this energy around in the art form, the Bitcoin art form, which I'm still trying to define. And even now on this conversation is great because the question we ask kind of all the Bitcoin artists that come on the show and anyone who joins us is, what is Bitcoin art? Trying to not define it because it's evolving constantly. It's this this embryo that is still waiting to be born. In my opinion, I don't think it's been fully formed, but I think there's a lot of key points there, and particularly one of your art pieces I particularly like that's kind of mimics Bitcoin is that you often set a lot of challenges to your collectors and followers on Twitter as well to break certain encryptions or codes in your piece. And I particularly like one piece where I think Fractal Encrypt tried to have a little go trying to break one of your pieces, trying to crack the code in order to extract the Bitcoin from it, and in the end he gave up because it was just too difficult. So I think that was great. It first of all, it was great that for getting the encryption within your work. It also kind of mimicked, I guess, a 51% attack where the amount of effort going into it isn't actually worth the reward in itself. How are there lots of these puzzles and kind of encryption in your pieces, and why do you put them there?
Well, so I was trying to, as always, figure out or kind of come up with how do you conceptualize Bitcoin, and some people have done it before. Shout out to Kialara because they use a similar substitution cipher technique for some of their collectible coins, where you can encrypt your own Bitcoin into the coin. But I don't know. I had this idea that you could. I've always, the seed phrase encryption has always been fascinating to me, and I think that there's. I mean, I understand you can put a passphrase on a seed phrase, or you can turn it in. You do make a seed zor and like split a 24-word seed phrase in half. But like a 12 or 24-word plain text seed phrase just hidden somewhere just seems like just terrible security and just a huge vulnerability. To store any significant amount of Bitcoin like that. And of course, a lot of people are going to say, well, you should do multi-sig, obviously, if you're doing more than X amount of Bitcoin or whatever it is. But I mean, there's complications with multi-sig, and that can be difficult as well. So, it's no one use, no one solution, no one size fits all when it comes to seed phrase storage. And of course, any beginner, I will always tell them, and I recommend everybody else always tell them, don't fuck around. Don't try and memorize your seed phrase. Stamp it in the metal. Keep it simple, stupid. But for the more advanced user, I think it's so fun that there's so many different ways you can encrypt the seed phrase. And I wanted to see how I could encrypt the seed phrase into a painting, and kind of along the lines of some of Knut Svanholm's, work and talks, where like you are Bitcoin, and some of, I guess Tomer as well, and they're, more philosophical stuff. If you were, to operate on the presumption that the knowledge of the location of the seed phrase or the knowledge of the private key is the Bitcoin itself. I know this is a little bit out there, but then in theory and technically to some degree, if a painting has a seed phrase in it, then the painting is Bitcoin. And I just thought that was so fun, and I was like, this to me, that's just one of the most like coolest ways of conceptualizing Bitcoin, is by making the artwork Bitcoin itself. And shout out to like Madex, who's been doing the open dimes and his totems for a long time. But I was like, is there a way I can make the front of the artwork that you see literally is Bitcoin? And so I kind of just made up a substitution cipher one night. I didn't even know that's what it was called. I don't actually know that much about cryptography or ciphers. But I basically was like, man, if I can just replace every word in a seed phrase with a symbol or it could be a color, or it could be any number of things, and then have a little key or a second part to the cipher that is the cipher key. I guess it would be like two cipher keys. You have the painting, and then you have the symbols from the painting, and you assign the letter of a seed phrase, a seed word, to each of the symbols on the painting. Then nobody's able to crack the painting. And then what I figured out was if I scramble the letters, and then I take the painting, I paint the symbols, I then roll a seed, I take the first 4 letters of each seed word, and I assign them to each symbol on the painting. I then scramble the letters up, but they keep their symbol on a little seed plate. And so I'll post this in the nest, and I'm working with Seed Stamp to make a custom seed plate, custom titanium seed plate. So far, this whole system is a reliable way to store Bitcoin. I wouldn't recommend anybody store their long-term savings on it. It's an art project that's for fun, but you can, from the testing I've done, reliably store Bitcoin this way. You can then hang the painting on a wall, display it publicly, and nobody would ever be able to crack the painting, because to crack the painting would take the same amount of, you would have the same chance as just randomly guessing any seed phrase, which is impossible. But then if you have the little seed plate, it tells you which symbol is which word, which letter, and then the painting tells you the order of those letters. And so from the seed plate and the painting, you can decrypt the seed phrase. And that cipher, or that little puzzle I did recently, I was just testing the strength of the seed plate alone. So if you have a seed plate with a 12-word seed phrase on it, 12 truncated words, and the letters are all scrambled up, I wanted to see how strong that would be. Because my thinking was, well, if you display the painting publicly, then people see it. But what if somebody didn't see the painting and they somehow found the seed plate? Would they be able to crack it? And from the test that I just did, they would not be able to crack it unless they had both the painting and the seed plate. So my idea kind of worked. So that was exciting.
That's great. I love it. It's participation art. You're actually out there toying with people almost. And I think it's still such a weird concept, isn't it? It's like 24 words or 12 words, or how hard can it be? There can't be that many combinations. And until you actually try and get into a wallet, I don't think you really appreciate how difficult it is. And many of Fractal Encrypt tried. I know he's not too bad on the old programming, and I recently read Avi Burra's 24 as well, and that contains all the words as the chapter titles to unlock the I believe it was like $11,000 of Bitcoin that was there, and the book contained clues, and I gave that a go, and that was extremely tough again. So, but it felt much in the same way your painting is bringing people in towards a painting. I mean, from its from the outside, it's a seed plate, but it's bringing people in, and they're actually part of the painting themselves, just in the same way as Avi Burra makes you feel that you're part of the Bitcoin story as well. So I think it's a really cool way to kind of to tell you people, get people involved. I'm going to switch it up a little bit now. I'm going to talk about a project you're heavily into, and you've managed to get myself and Flo involved, and a couple of other listeners as well to that are in the show at the moment. Bitcoin trading cards. I as a huge Pokemon card collecting kid when I was growing up, this seems like the ideal project. And from the moment I saw it, I thought it was amazing. I was really, really humbled that you invited me in to participate in the project, and I've got my own card, which I'm so proud of. And I'm never going to own it because it's so rare, but then that's my fault. So but tell me, how did you get involved in the Bitcoin card community and project?
So I met Aladdin at Pacific Bitcoin Not this last one, but the previous one when he launched Bitcoin trading cards. And I had a little art displayed along the side of the airplane hangar there, and he was right on the corner. And he's a very awesome, very social guy, and we just hit it off. And he gave me a pack of cards. He actually gave me a pack of cards, and I opened it and I pulled a Tone Vase, 1 of 100, which is pretty epic. On like the first pack of Bitcoin trading cards I ever opened, and so that was kind of fun. But I had no idea what it was. I was like, oh, this is cool. I've like had Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid. But I'm not like, I've never been like a collector of anything specific, really. At least not in that kind of collectible sense. And and So I had no idea what I was looking at. I was like, wow, these are really cool. And I bought a few packs. And of course, now I should have bought a bunch of boxes, but I did not. And anyways, it was a great conference. We had a good time. People seemed stoked on the cards. I sold some art, and me and Aladdin stayed in touch. I don't know. We just kind of hit it off. We both come from similar backgrounds to some degree. And, we both spent some time in the hemp industry. And over the next year, we would, kind of stayed in touch and call each other sometimes and just shoot the shit, talk about both of our projects. And, we hit it off. He wanted to put me in the cards. That was kind of, he was like, I want to put your art in the cards and let's put you in S2. And I was like, that sounds great. And we just kind of got to know each other. And then, a few months ago, I started helping him. Well, it was around last Pacific Bitcoin. There was some issues with the print. And so I kind of just hopped in and helped him fix some stuff and get it sorted and reprinted. That was for the Pacific Bitcoin 23 whale packs, which unfortunately did not get launched at Pacific Bitcoin. Currently, they are sold out. And so I kind of helped him get a bunch of the artists that were in those packs. It was after S2, the success of S2. I was just so blown away with the whole project now that I'd learned more about the plan, which is, for anybody who doesn't know, the goal is to get Bitcoin trading cards on the shelves of big box stores right next to Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, and use it as a Trojan horse to, just bring Bitcoin education, monetary education into, the average household, even if it's just, getting the word Bitcoin spoken around the household. How do you get kids excited about Bitcoin? How do you get a kid to talk about Bitcoin? And the trading cards are an epic way to do so, and an epic way to share Bitcoin with your family and interact with your kids. So, I was inspired by all of that. And S2 had been really good as an artist for me, just promotional wise. A lot of the pack stackers, shout out to some of them, in the bunch of them in the audience right now. I love you guys. They, like bought a print from me that matched my card. It was just super fun. It was great. Just everybody was such a cool community. Everybody was really nice. And I just saw the value from from the art business standpoint, the value and the promotional value of it, and just how amazing it is. And not to mention the like archiving and memorializing of like Bitcoin history in this point of time right now. And the trading cards are such a cool decentralized way to do that. To archive Bitcoin's history as it's happening and then distribute it like so decentralized all over the world. And so I got excited about all of that. And so I helped him with the Pacific Bitcoin 23 whale packs and rounded up the artists for that. And then we just dropped the halving edition whale packs. They just released them at BitBlock Boom. And that's what you guys are in. And Rare Skrilla was in here earlier. I think he left. I wanted to get him up on stage here, but he's in there. Trying to see if there's anybody else in the audience who's in the halving edition packs. I want to definitely do some more spaces with and try and get as many of the try to do a space with all the artists if possible. But so now I've been helping Aladdin I'm like decent on Illustrator, and I'm pretty connected with a lot of the Bitcoin artists, so I've been helping him with the composition and the formatting and the kind of like pre-press, print ready, getting everything print ready with the cards. So I helped compile all of the Genesis box toppers, Pacific Bitcoin 23 cards, unconfiscatable cards. Genesis box toppers are still available. Unconfiscatable and Pacific Bitcoin are sold out, or unconfiscatable, there might be a few boxes left, almost sold out. And then I helped put together all of the BitBlock Boom, Halving Edition Whale Packs, and Spirit of Satoshi cards. And so that's just, yeah, helping him with the, kind of getting the artwork. There's a lot more to the cards than you would think. There's about a million things with them that you would never think when you open a pack of trading cards and look at them. But basically, we build the frames, we get the art, and then the art's got to be combined with the frame, and then all of the appropriate information put in there. And then Kisa's been writing the descriptions. Previously, it was just Aladdin and Darian, I believe, who did all the descriptions up until Kisa kind of came on board. Simplest Bitcoin Book, shout out, she's in the audience. So for S3, she'll be doing all the descriptions, and she helped with a bunch of them on the 3 sets that just went out. And so then it's taking the descriptions, putting it on the back, and then it's making sure everything's in the proper format template for the printer, and then communicating with the printer. Aladdin I've helped him a little bit picking out the foils, the different holographic foils, so the cards get printed on foil board, and the numbering. So yeah, it's a huge task getting them done, but they come out so cool and they're so fun, and everybody seems to love them. So I'm having a lot of fun with it.
It's such a cool project. Even just as we're speaking here now, Flo has just popped up her card, which you can actually check out in the comments section of this space. So if you go down and have a look, Flo, the Bitcoin is Hope, looks absolutely stunning. What a fantastic card. Was that for Pacific Bitcoin, Flo?
Yeah, that was for the Pacific Bitcoin last year. And it was so cool, such a great process. And Asanoha was very patient with me because I have, I mean, Bitcoin and Bitcoin art has forced me to learn so many things that I think I'm very bad at. Like, for example, editing images, or I don't know, writing. I only want to draw, but then again, it's very cool to learn new things. And I remember the process of doing this card, and yeah, we had to edit the drawing because I had it scanned, but it wasn't like super perfect. And Asanoa helped me to write the back, because actually I didn't write it. And it was so cool. And I remember when they came out, and to see that I didn't even had realized that they were going to be limited cards. I didn't know about the shiny, foil. So it was such a great surprise in every step of the way, and I love just to be part of this project. And I think it has this beauty that it gives you a feeling that you also belong, that you're part of the project. When you have your own card, it's so like an invitation. It's so positive. Everyone wants to share this project because it's amazing, because you feel part of it. And I think that's very Bitcoiner in a way. I know there are a lot of different people, and I don't know, we have had all kinds of experiences. But for me, the Bitcoin ethos and the people I have met are always so open, so collaborative, willing to teach, not being like trying to keep everything or the knowledge for themselves. I feel like there is so much more confidence here. Like, people is not in other spaces, people won't give you information or won't give you advices or stuff like that, because they don't want you to get better, because they feel threatened by you. But I feel here in the space, it's not like that. It's like, if you go and do it better than me, that's amazing, and we can grow together. And I'm teaching you today, but I can learn from you tomorrow. It's like more humble in a way. And again, this has been my experience. I have met amazing people. And I see that in this in this project, in the trading cards. Um, and I think that's also one of the reasons why I think this project is going to be super successful. And the other one is the focus on the on education. uh, we I have had this talk with many people, like, should we orange peel, shouldn't we, like, that, do you really, are you really able to orange peel someone? Does someone get Bitcoin only when they want, when they, I don't know, it clicks on their minds? Or can you help them actually? Should you? And I'm of the thinking that if I can, I will help someone get to Bitcoin, because I think it will improve their lives from whatever side of the world they're coming from. Yeah, so I think all education projects are much needed and beautiful, and have a unique approach that is needed, and that it's going to change, hopefully, the culture. I think so many of these tiny things are so important, because we're building a new culture, and we get to decide what we want to put like emphasis on. And I hope collaboration is one of those things, as much as proof of work, as much as many other stuff that we we talk. Uh, yeah, always. So I'm so happy, and I actually have coming in this new pack that it was just released. I will have another card. So even though this Pacific Bitcoin is sold out, you can get a Flo Montoya card in the new pack. So I hope everybody goes and buys it and enjoys it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get hold of it. I've seen some of the images of some of the cards that are from Bitbop, and actually one of the people in the audience, you just sent me a DM with a I think it Bitcoin Apex's card, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. It just looks incredible. So it is a project, and so pleased to be part of it as well. And if anyone, just as soon as someone cracks the penny on it, send me an image, please, because I don't know if they exist yet. I'm not sure if they do or not, but I'm sure they do. Okay, Asanoa, the sovereign remnant. We're coming up to the end of our conversation now. But I was just wondering, what's the future for you now, mate? What's obviously you've got the tattooing going. How about Bitcoin art? What are your projects on the horizons? Are there any exhibitions or galleries in the world that you're showing your work? Yeah, just what's going on in the future?
Right now, I'm mostly focused on getting my tattoo kind of apprenticeship moved along here, and just working on the projects that I have right now, which is a kind of a lot in this moment, which is super awesome. But so I don't have any events currently planned. I was going to be at BitBlock Boom, and I kind of pulled out of that. So I probably will be at Nashville. I might boycott Nashville, but I probably will be there. I do have an article coming out about the Seed Cipher kind of painting project that I'm working on. I'm gonna do prints of that, and that I have an article coming out in the next issue of Bitcoin Magazine for that. And so that's exciting. I'm working on some stuff with Modio Tech. He's in the audience here, and he makes those really epic PCB boards. So we're working on something right now. What else? I'm gonna try to put something in Stack Chain Magazine in their next issue. And so I've got I've got a whole bunch of different stuff I'm working on. There's some merch I just did with Simply Bitcoin. If you go to their website, you can grab a hat or a shirt. They've got women's shirts too. So that's been running right now. That's been fun. And then I'm going to be doing a little merch collab with Start9, which I'm really excited about. I talked to them about it last year at BitBlock Boom. And so I just spoke with them the other day, and I'm going to do a shirt with them. And I've got a couple commissions right now. I've been making just hand painting blocks from the mempool.space visualization, And so I actually have a block that will be going, I think, to the mempool offices. I shouldn't actually say that because I think it's a surprise, but and then some private commissions of just hand-drawn mempool blocks. One that I'm really excited about that I just did is Ocean Block number 823129, and this is the first block found by Ocean Mining after they upgraded to Knots version 25.1, which fixed the data carrier size bug and filtered all but one inscription out of the block. I highly recommend everybody check out the website what the fuck happened in feb2023.com. I'm going to put it in the nest here. So I'm pretty anti-spam. I don't know, everybody's been involved or paying as much attention and is on different sides of the fence with it all, but I'm a monetary use case maximalist, and I don't think the Bitcoin base layer should be used for anything other than monetary Bitcoin transactions. So I'm looking to Druidian. We're kind of there's a few cool things going on. I'm looking to kind of put together a collective of monetary use case maximalist Bitcoin artists. And I'm excited. There's some potential for being able to use Fractal Encrypt's auction capabilities on his website that he's got set up, because I'm excited to hopefully create a space soon for physical, not only physical, digital too, but just, Bitcoin art that is not spamming the blockchain. So, I'm going to put this piece I just did up in the nest, and I will be auctioning this somewhere. I'm not sure where yet, but I've been excited making these. I'm excited to make some more of these. Modiotech and I, like I said, are working on a project that involves these, and we'll see. So maybe I'll be at Nashville. I want to do some European conferences. I'd like to go to Riga. I was going to go to Madeira. I didn't make it. I was really excited to see both you, Rebel, and you, Flo, out there, and Modiotech, and Gareth, who I see there in the audience. Hi, Lena, I see you there. I don't know if you were at Madeira. But I didn't make it out there. But yeah, the goal is to make it to as many events as possible. And so, Prague, Riga, Madeira next year, maybe something that the Bitcoin Jungle guys do down in Costa Rica is all on the potential roster. And thank you guys for having me up here and letting me drawl on a little bit. I have a lot to say, and I have a lot more to say, so maybe we can do another one after you run through some other artists. And I'm really excited and grateful to have both of you in this Halving Edition Whale Pack. Lena, I want to get you in the trading cards, and I want to get you, Gareth, in the trading cards too. I see you guys there in the top of the audience. But yeah, if anybody has questions about trading cards or questions about any of the art that I'm working on, if anybody ever wants to buy some art from me and wants a discount, shoot me a DM. I love giving people discounts. Everybody gets a discount. And it's exciting. We got exciting stuff happening, and all the art everybody's been making is so amazing. And I love all the Bitcoin artists.
Hey, Asanoha, thank you so much for joining us. This has been so fun to hear more from you. And please also share where people, like your website, or of course people can see your handle here, but do you use other social media and anything you want to share before we close up?
Yeah, my website is, I just upgraded or rebuilt it. I was on Shopify, and they wouldn't let me control my user data in a way that I felt was good, and they were making me wait a long time to delete customer data. So I rebuilt on WordPress, anonymously, paid for everything in Bitcoin, and I have full control of my customer data. So when people request their data being deleted, I can do it immediately, which I highly recommend to any other Bitcoin artists to do so, in the spirit of pseudonymity and proper data management policy, kind of policy, I guess. But so I've just rebuilt my website. It's sovereignremnant.com. It's in my name. It's in my bio. I also am on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Asanoha, ASANOHA _gold, GOLD. So I'm on Instagram as Asanoha _gold. I'll be posting, I post a little bit different on there, kind of more geared toward tattoo stuff, moving towards that. And I actually did I made a TikTok. I did it yesterday. I decided I should make a TikTok. So I have resisted making one, but so we'll see. I think my username on there is Sovereign Remnant. I don't know. We'll see how long it lasts. More importantly than that fiat garbage is Noster, and you can find me on Noster. In my bio on Twitter, there is a URL, a primal URL that takes you to my Noster. I'm trying to think what I mean. I'm just Asanoha on Noster, and let me look real quick. I'm at Asanoha on Noster. If you're using Damus, I think just by typing in Asanoha, you'll find me. My account's verified with nosterplebs.com, so I don't know if that's helpful. But yeah, there's the Noster URL in my bio, and I just want to say Noster is better than Twitter, and Instagram and TikTok are garbage, and everybody should be on Noster, and if you're not, you need to go make a Noster account. Yeah, so
Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. As you say, like an hour's absolutely flown by, and yeah, we're building the show. It's a community. It's for all Bitcoin artists all around the world to join in, and we would love to have you back on again, so you can rabbit on for ages, mate, because we love listening to it. So really appreciate it. Thank you very much for making it this week. Really, really grateful, and really looking forward to seeing your pieces in the future.
Yeah, I also want to thank you. And yeah, you have made this show so fun. It's super fun and easy to talk to you. And you have so many amazing projects that you have done, but you are working on. So congratulations, you deserve it. And yeah, let's stay focused. And yeah, I wish you the best with everything. And let's do more trading cards and tattoos.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. That's it for this week. We're back next week. We're every Monday, same time for 1 hour. We're not sure who our guest is this yet. Florencia, have we got anyone lined up yet? Don't think so.
We have some ideas, but we will reveal it in the week.
Yeah, we're keeping it under wraps for the moment.
Yeah.
We'll be definitely back next week with some more talk and discussion around Bitcoin art and artists and promoting the craft. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you all next week.
Yes. So go stay creative, stay ungovernable, and have a beautiful creative week. Bye. Thank you, everyone.